All right, this is tedious. All right, I understand, but one of the things we have to do in grade 10 to get marks for is subbing values into equations, so this is a good practice for that as well here now. Okay, so what this is a T, everyone heard of table of values? T-charts? What else they call it? I don't know what else they're called. Some good are shape and test. I know in my class we do it because you have to when you get to higher grades, so I'm putting this in here. So here we go. So there's our thing. We're going to choose values from -2 to 2. What we're going to do is we're going to make a chart or a table. Excuse me. But there's your x value. Can someone who's brave suggest what might go in our x column? Yes, go ahead. Yeah, good. I'm going to put -2. Then I'm going to put -1. Then I'm going to put 0. Then I'm going to put 1. Then I'm going to put 2. Okay, where did I get those numbers? Someone other than Emily. Where did those numbers actually come from? Yes. Good. Very good. So make sure, please, that when you are doing this on your assignment or your test, read what the question says. If I tell you to graph from 15 to 21, you should graph from 15 to 21. If I tell you to graph from 0 to a million, graph from 0 to a million. I can't buy like 100,000s or something, right, for your graph, for your table, right, okay? But listen to what the teacher's asking, please, for that. All right, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to write my equation in here. 2x minus 3. And at the right-hand side, so what you should do, if I was doing this on my paper, I would do my chart like this, leave a whole bunch of room in the middle, because that's where all the rough work's going to happen. And then on the right-hand side is just a neat little point, because that point is what we're actually going to be graphing. Okay, so x and y are the coordinates on the points. All right. Has anyone seen this before? Other than the kids in my class? No. You guys have never done a chart graph before in your life? No. Alistair, you've never done a table in your life? Sorry. That's good. You're learning something today. This is wonderful. Okay. I picked someone randomly from my class last year. Bailey, can you tell me what to do for the first, for -2, please? Go ahead. Yeah. Yeah. Good. Okay, so what Bailey did there, correctly mind you, was everywhere she saw an x, she replaced it with a -2 on the left. Okay, I'm not going to do any math yet. I got a second volunteer randomly. That being Jessica, can you tell me what to do for -1?
Y equals 2 times -1 minus 3.
So what Jessica did there correctly was everywhere she saw an x, she's going to just change the numbers, just going to change again and again and again. That's all we're doing here. All right? Yes?
So negative minus the brackets, would it be just like a positive 3 minus?
No. No, because, well, I'll do the calculation in a sec. I just want to get the chart on here. But because, like, you got to follow bedmaster again, right? So it's like 2 times -1, which is -2.
Yeah.
And then -2 minus 3 should be -5.
Okay.
Okay. All right, can I get a brave soul to tell me what to write for 0? Somebody be brave, please. Well, no one's brave. In the whole, this is why I did Spider-Man, because no one is brave. Yes, go ahead.
Y equals 2 times 0.
Very good. Okay, now this stuff is not rocket science yet. Can I get a brave soul to do the next one, please? Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
2 times -1 minus 3.
Good. 2 times 1, but yes. Yeah. So we start at the negative and work at the positive. Good.
Do you have to write the middle column?
Yes. Now, for linear ones, you're probably saying I am a genius, which you all are, and you say I can do this in my head, okay? The thing is, we're going to get to horribly complicated things in this class, and I want to keep the same structure, right? So, just like when you get to real things, you can't just count off in your head. I want you to do that. And finally, can someone, fifth person, be brave, please? Karina, go ahead.
Y equals 2 times 2 -3.
Lovely. Okay. Okay, so I think we got the pattern. And you can see I just chose to do -2 to 2. You could do any values. All right, I'm going to do the actual math here right now. Okay, now. So -2 times 2 is -4. minus 3, which should be, my point should be negative 2 and negative 7. Just make sure we know how I got that. Hold on, just wait. I did 2 times negative 2 is negative 4, right? And then negative 4 minus 3 should be negative 7. Your x value stays as negative 2 because that's on the left, right? And your y value is what we have in the calculator in the middle. Raise your hand. Go ahead.
So you always get the x?
Yeah, the x is just given to you always here, right? So these are your, like, because that's your x here, right? And in the middle, we're just finding out what y is, right? So y is going to be whatever that number happens to be, right? And the x is sort of given here. So before I even do any work, I can say there's negative 1, there's 0, there's 1, there's 2, right? So that's the x part, right? And the y is just calculated. Okay, can I get a second for your soul to do the calculation for negative 1, please? This is my Spider-Man here. Alistair, go ahead. Yeah. So how you did that was negative 2 minus 3, which is going to be negative 5. What's the pattern? How do you get from negative 7 to negative 5? How'd you get from negative 7 to negative 5?
What's going up by 2?
Going up by 2. Good. Noah, how do you know that you're going up by 2 each time? What about the equation tells you? You should go up by 2. Okay, yes it is, good, but what part of the equation does? Yes, the slope, right? And that's what we're going to get into way to do these graphs quicker in a minute. We know your slope is 2. Before I even do any work, that should be negative 3, that should be negative 1, that should be 1. And you guys are all pros in math, so that's where that should come from. I'm going to show my work because I'm a good student. Okay, right? But that's where that should come from. Yes?
So we're doing y equals x plus b.
Yes.
But how did you get the 2 for n?
Oh, just because I gave you, right, because here's your equation here, right? So what I just did was, right, like, that's what we're using, right? 2 times whatever that number is, then minus 3. Right, so we're just something that right in there. So now we're going to graph this right now, okay? So we've made our chart, we've got what's relevant.
What's the y2 max y?
Oh, that's coming on the next example. This is just back here. The question was, what's all this? That's a general case. So this would be when I give you 2 points and you have to make an equation from it. Okay, if that doesn't sound familiar, it will by the end of today. Yeah. Any equations on the idea of the chart here? Oh, you guys are so nice. We're all good? Luke, this is coming back to you. All right, let's get to graph. So this is where you're going to take out your beautiful graph paper right now. I will show you my beautiful graph paper right like this. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, overall I'm a nice guy, but I'm very, very mean when it comes to graphs. Okay, question? No, because if I say use a table, you must use a table, right? Because the reason I'm taking you through this aid is because, yeah, linear stuff is very easy to graph, okay? And I will make you, but when we get to quadratics and everything else we graph in this course, the first time through I want you to do that. As well, the point of this lesson, today, part of it, is to show you guys how to sub values into equations. That's part of what today's lesson is, right? So, but yes, I will not ask you to do it probably on your test, okay? All right, so I'm going to ask for volunteers here. You can only raise your hand once. Tell me something I should put on my graph, if anything, please. Go ahead. Title sounds good. Yeah, all right. What's a suitable title, Hannah, for this graph, please? Graph 1. I have an even better one than that. Graph 1 is okay, though. Whoops, one did not work. Oh, no. I'd say, hold on. Y equals, this is an even better title. Graph 1 is okay, like question 1, example 1 is fine as well, but generally if you put the equation that you're graphing, that's really useful. Okay, somebody else please, so Hannah's out, somebody else, what else should I put on this graph please? Aiden. Good, even before that, I'm going to put 2 big lines first of all, okay, but then I'll do that. So, you will be using a ruler for this, okay? If you do this, I'm not going to do it here now because I don't want to show you guys bad examples here. Okay, whoops. You should have a perfect line that looks something like that. Alright? If you do this, you're going to lose a mark. Okay, so don't do that. Okay, because there will be somebody that does that. If you say, you know what, I'm going to take the edge of my calculator and try and make a squiggly line, don't do that. I'm particularly on this, and I don't know why, but use a ruler, please. Okay? Okay, so what you want to do for this is you want this to sort of be in the middle of the page. All right, so you want to be able to do this. So Aiden said y and x. Aiden, can you remind the class which one is y and which one is x? And x-axis. You'll also lose half a mark if you do not write y-axis and x-axis. Okay, because we could be talking about anything. We could be talking about verbs and bees. We could be talking about z's. We could be talking about lots of different things. So you have to label it. If you want to just put x and y, that's fine. I'm going to write axis because I'm a math teacher. Okay. Can I get a third person? So Aiden, you're out too. I'm sorry, Aiden, you're out. Somebody else. What do I need to put on this graph? Yeah, go ahead, Trina.
A scale.
Yeah, good. Now, make sure that on your graphic, or however big it is, that you can fit these numbers on it. All right? There's nothing worse than seeing this, which I often see on a test. Here'll be the piece of graph paper that I give you, and you'll do this, and you'll have a nice little point, and then you'll say, draw off like this, okay? That will also cost you to lose a mark, okay? If you need to change your scale so you can't by twos or whatever, go ahead. You have to get all the way down to -7. All right, so if you notice what I did on my graph, I actually moved this line up so it's not directly in the middle, because I knew I had to get down to -7 for my y's, all right? So I'm going to start at 0 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, perfect. Just a reminder that think of this like a thermometer. Okay, that we have positives are going up, negatives are going down. I have to get between +2 and -2. Wonderful. So those three people are out. Can I get something else, please, right in this graph before I start plotting points? There's one final thing. Sorry, Aiden, I know you know all over this. You're a wonderful grapher. I haven't told you that lately. This is why I do spider mix. Otherwise, Aiden and I just have a math talk. What else do you need in this graph? Yes. Arrows. Why do you need arrows? The graphs do technically go on forever. I only asked you to graph from -2 to +2. But if I would have asked you to graph from like 100 to 200, like the graph could be all over the place, right? Okay. Is this somewhat familiar to most people, I hope? Okay, those are the 4 big things I'm looking for before I start. There's a few others that I'm going to show you in a second. Okay, you have to do the numbers. Somebody will say, yeah, my grade 9 math teacher said I don't have to do the numbers. Too bad. I'm a grade 10 math teacher, and I say that you do have to do the numbers, okay? So put the numbers on the axes and on that. All right, -2, -7 is going to be somewhere on the left, bottom left of the graph. So x is -2, which goes over here, and y is -7, which goes way down here. Okay, I do not require you to label each individual point with the coordinates. You may if you want to, if it'll help you out. Okay, but I'm not going to make you -2, -7. You can if you want. The next point is going to be -1, -5, which is going to be down here. Then we're hopefully going to have 0 and -3, which is going to be here. Oh, that isn't -7, is it? Whoops. I know some people are starting to look at that. Here's that. Better? There we go. 0 and -3 is there. One and -1 is here. And 2 and +1 is there. Okay, looking at those 5 points, how can I guess that that looks like I've graphed this properly? What sort of the thing for that? Yeah, Leo? Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, it looks to me like they're sort of going in a straight line. Okay? If you were to do it, and this happens all the time, not in this course, but if you get a graph and it's doing this, probably you miss a point. If something probably happened incorrectly there, right? It's supposed to go in a straight line. So just look about that. We'll get to these graphs a little later on in the course. They show like a nice little happy face. If your happy face looks like this, right, there's probably a point that's going wrong, so calculate that out, right? Really very quiet today as well. Okay, Bailey, since you're sitting there so quietly, I need you to do two more things before I finish this graph. Do you remember what they are? Find the best fit or connect the dots, definitely. Okay, so you're also going to use a ruler for this. Okay, there will be people that say, you know what, Mr. Sadler, I'm not going to use a ruler. I'm sorry, you're going to lose a mark then. Oh goodness, that's a giant line. It doesn't have to be that big. I'm going to fix that up probably. Okay, so while I fix this up, how about that? Is that better? That's probably better. Let's go there. There we go. Okay, Luke Chason, there is one thing that I have not done yet. Do you remember what the very last thing I have to do for this is?
Not really. Yes, put an arrow.
Yes, very good. Okay, because very good. So what has to happen here is this graph should keep on going. I only happen to graph from -2 to +2, right? Okay, right. I could have made the graph from wherever I wanted. So this graph would go, if I have x equals 10, the y value is going to be way up here, right? If I have x equals 20, the y value is going to be halfway to heaven over there, right? So just watch it. Is this mostly coming back for people, I hope? Okay, we're going to do some slope to make it quicker here. So this is y equals 2x minus 3. I'm going to change the title and put it right there beside the graph. I'm going to save this and then we're going to speed it up for those people that don't like tables, which is everyone. Here.